gonna have to do a Where's Waldo or Where's the Real Marion?
Oh, 'cause she's on here twice. A whole bunch of times.
Yeah, I think I made a error when I told her to send out the link that she had. I thought it was just the general one, but so it's showing up everyone that she sent that to as her.
So for those of us that are joining us that are not Marion, if you could go in your settings and change your name to your actual name. If you don't know how to do that, make sure that you are, if you're participating, that you state the information that I'm going to list off here in just a minute. You can replace Marion's name with your own name. That would be super helpful for us. There's the real Marion. Okay, well, I'll go ahead and read the opening statement for our stormwater fee public hearing so that we can go ahead and get going. This is a public hearing conducted on behalf of the city manager for the purpose of allowing the public to submit their views on proposed increases to the City of Eugene stormwater service charges pursuant to Section 6.411 of the Eugene Code. On June 12th, the city manager of the City of Eugene issued an administrative order proposing increased rates for stormwater service charges. Notification steps have been completed. After today's public hearing, the city manager will review the comments submitted and establish the fees and charges as proposed, or will modify the charges in response to the comments received, provided any modified fees comply with the fee setting standards provided in Section 6.411, subsection 2 of the Eugene Code. We ask those wishing to comment to provide their name and address for the record. We will listen to the comments but not respond during the public hearing. The comments will be addressed as part of the city manager's findings and recommendation. We will now open the public hearing to receive public comments in the matter of the intended increase in stormwater service charges. Do we have someone waiting in a queue?
I don't see any hands raised yet. As if they raise their hand, then I'm able to unmute them.
Okay. So for anybody that's wanting to, any member of the public that's wanting to provide testimony or comment today, you'll need to raise your hand so that we know that you'd like to speak, and then we'll go ahead and unmute you.
Okay, I have one person. I'll need their name. I'm gonna unmute. I believe when I click to ask.
Oh, there it goes.
My name is
there they go.
Nancy
Okay.
Pierce.
Hi, Nancy.
Hi.
And can we get your address for the record, please?
2535 Madison Street, Eugene.
Thank you. You can go ahead and
Okay.
share your comments.
I am an older resident. I rent. I support the library, the firefighters, the first responders, the parks and recreation. as much as a human can. The fact that I rent means that I don't directly pay property taxes, which is historically how taxes and levies work. But I think it's just insane to start connecting stormwater with these public services. There has to be a clearer way so that they're not tangled up. And in the future, it's clear what people are supporting and what they're not supporting. That's it.
Thank you. If anybody else has any comments they'd like to state today, just go ahead and raise your hand and we can give you the floor to go ahead and say what you'd like to say today. And I think we'll probably keep the public hearing open until 12:30 if we don't. We'll end it at 12:30 instead of 1 if we don't have additional commenters.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay, it looks like you're unmuted. Go ahead with your name, please.
Elisa Crawford.
Elisa, can I have your address for the record, please?
Yes, 3447 Arrowhead Street, Eugene, 97404.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I've called in several years now on the storm sewer. Apparently, when the street was originally graded in the older district, it sloped toward my house. So I'm taking on all the storm water from the new addition, and there's no way for that water to reach any storm drain. Even if they send the suck all out, it's bone dry on where these drains are located. And my street, it's sloped where I'm taking all the storm. So it basically floods my driveway. It goes nowhere until it reaches about a foot high, or I would say 3 to 4 inches, what they told me, because of the grade. I cannot and will not foresee any type of justification for an increase where I don't even get the service of storm. I am the storm drain on this side. Floods clear down to the street to almost Arrowhead Park. That's where the nearest drain is. And they said there's nothing they can do about it until they actually regrade the road, which who knows? They've been doing slurry patches. So when I heard of this increase that of a service I'm not able even to get now, I couldn't believe it. I think they need to do a little assessment of where the stormwater is actually working and not working. I'm also dealing with one of my properties out off of Barger, not to jump around too much, that they're still working with ditches where storm again is not being discharged. It's kind of a wonky little storm ditch that kind of flows down. And in the meantime, it's eroding the yard and taking everything with it. And again, no storm service. So I have two properties I'm working on that aren't even receiving that service. So it is pretty frustrating to even thinking about entertaining such an increase when I'm not even getting the service. That's all I'd like to add. And I can give you the address too, because I've definitely called Public Works and addressed this with them as well.
Go ahead with that address.
2434 East Irwin. And that's Eugene 97402. It's in an area of ditches.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And that's all I have to add to that. So I think we need to start getting the infrastructure figured out, streets leveled, graded to appropriately to receive stormwater, and also start addressing the storm where you're still utilizing ditches where water, well, a lot of the owners just filled in their ditches. So I don't know what, no one enforces that apparently. That's what I was told. In the meantime, I'm dealing with eroding yards from the ditch. Okay, that's all.
Thank you.
Mhm.
So for anybody that has joined us since we started that didn't hear the information that I stated earlier, if there's someone that would like to go ahead and comment, you'll just need to raise your hand using the Zoom software. Also, if you are joining us and your name is not Marion Barnes, if you could go ahead and use the settings to fix your name to so that we can know who you are, that'd be great. We need Zoom meeting awkward silence music.
You're doing great, Denise.
It's just so quiet. But thank you. For those of our users that maybe aren't super familiar with how to use Zoom, if you hover your cursor along the bottom of your screen, right in the middle is where you can see a raise hand icon. That's how you let us know that you'd like to speak. And we can go ahead and unmute your link so that you can say what you would like to say, if there's anything you'd like to share with us today. And again, for anybody that may have joined us recently, if you would like to make a comment, please raise your hand and we'll unmute you so that you can share what you have to say.
Okay, we have one. We'll need the name here.
Go ahead and state your name and your address for the record, if you please do that.
Yeah, my name's Bob Sigmund, and I'm just curious. I responded on June 25th of this year, and I'm just curious if anyone received my comments.
Is that by email?
I believe so, or it might have been actually mailed a letter.
Checking. I don't see that we have information from you just yet, Mr. Sigmund. Would you like to go ahead and share your thoughts with us now?
Well, if you have the letter, I just as soon not read what I sent, but if necessary, I can do it.
If you'd like to email that to us, you're welcome to do so. We do need your written testimony by 5 p.m. today, or you can go ahead and share your thoughts with us now.
Okay, I'll do that. I've commented yearly on the stormwater fees, so no surprise by anyone here. I'm a long-term resident of Eugene, and I remember a time when there was no such thing as a stormwater fee. As I recall, the city of Eugene had sufficient revenue to provide city services for all of its citizens at this time. Since that time, the city has discovered it could generate millions upon millions of additional revenue by charging for water runoff for nearly all types of private property within the city. Of course, large commercial properties, which I used to manage, were charged an exorbitant monthly fee for runoff, and residential properties were charged a much smaller fee. Since the beginning of stormwater fees, the city has consistently increased the monthly fees for all property types, and at the same time has greatly increased the number and cost of city services. As to the cost to provide additional services has increased at a level that exceeds the cost of living, the city is determined to find additional revenue sources outside of the annual property taxes. Fortunately for property owners, property taxes are limited to increase by only 3% annually. However, there are no limits for increases for city services like stormwater. Consequently, most Oregon property owners are now burdened with ever-rising city fees to pay for multiple of additional services. In the case of the city of Eugene, stormwater fees are collected by Eugene Water and Electric Board, and non-payment for stormwater fees result in immediate termination of water and electricity. In other words, stormwater fees are the perfect city tax with a heavy hammer. I see no nexus between a fee for stormwater runoff and the expense of maintaining parks and open space or other city services for that matter. I do, however, believe the city of Eugene has found the perfect method to force a tax on its citizens without any recourse. I believe this method of taxation only builds resentment among city residents, especially for senior citizens, which will build over time. I hope I live long enough to see a time when this form of taxation is eliminated by a vote of the citizens of Oregon. And by the way, I want to remain on the mailing list for future notices for public works on this subject. Thank you.
Thank you. If there's anyone else that would like to comment today, go ahead and raise your hand and we'll unmute you to go ahead and get that statement from you.
Hi, Elisa Crawford again here. I was wondering how many more meetings or public notices are going to be sent out to I guess, customers and property owners before a final decision is made? And are they going to do an impact as far as over time, future increases? I mean, I'm really leery of establishing any type of taxed fees on a service I don't think I'm even receiving now, let alone over the time, years. Are they going to do an assessment of such properties of undeveloped roadways or no storm sewer up and running, AKA ditches that this is going to be implemented on? How is that, I guess, projected as far as future development? Or are they going to leave them out of it because they don't have a storm? Or are they just considering the ditches storms, active storms? Or in my case, a street that was developed and sloped the wrong way, and well,
That was several questions in one. In general, we don't do a question and answer session for public hearings, but if you'd like to provide your email address, I can send you some information relating to your questions specifically and email that information to you.
yes. Do you want me to send it into the chat?
That would be fine.
Okay.
I think if you have access to the chat, that would be great.
Okay, I think I do. Okay, I will forward that now. And
Thank you.
that would be something where I'd be kept apprised. I mean, I'm not sure if it'll matter, but I sure have a lot of questions.
Sure.
I've just sent that over, so that'll be coming.
And and then Denise, I don't know if you were going to mention as part of the process that we will collect all of the comments that were provided in the public hearing, along with any other email or regular mail comments that we receive. Those will all be collected and then answered centrally and then sent back out to our interested parties list and anyone who testified.
Thank you, Susan. If anybody else has joined us pretty recently and you'd like to comment on today's public hearing, just go ahead and use the software to raise your hand and we'll unmute you so that you can provide your name and address and say what you'd like to say. we're at the 12:30 mark and nobody else is asking to provide testimony or comment. Should we wrap it up, or what do we want to do? Susan, I'm asking you.
Well, since we had a few people speak after, like that weren't in the queue at noon, I'm thinking let's stay on for another 10 minutes and just see if we get any other responses or any other people joining us. Hopefully that's, unless Emily, you have a different opinion, then I will always defer to our city attorney.
You certainly don't need to legally. So it's a policy choice if you would like to go further, but the notices were very clear that the hearing began at noon. So you certainly don't legally need to continue to allow new people to join.
I should have let Emily talk first before I said anything.
How about we split the difference and we'll wait for 12:35?
Sounds good.
Just a
Great
few more
job, Denise.
minutes. Okay. So we got a couple more minutes here. If there's anyone else that would like to speak, just go ahead and raise your hand and we'll unmute you so that you can provide your statement. All right, well, we've hit the 12:35 mark. I haven't had any indication that anybody else would like to provide testimony or comment. So I think we can go ahead and wrap this up. If you'd like to go ahead and stop recording, Twyla.